Hello, this is Bonnie, and today I'm going to be trying another new idea. I am going to be making a wreath with an owl in it. That's my intention, and I'm going to make my own background paper to start with, like I've done before. And I'm going to be using this stencil from Fairy Hugs. It is called Flow. I'm also going to be using these stamps. I'm going to try to get these so that I don't have too much of a glare. This one is called Hoots, and it's from the book collection. It's newer, and this is the book Flowers. This is going to be how I'm going to make my wreath. I'm going to put the books actually in it, and then I'm going to be using this thank you set. I'm going to be using some of the foliage from that. That is what I'm going to be doing, and so I'm going to go right ahead and get started with the background paper. And I am going to be doing a 5.5 piece of cardstock. And I'm going to be using pumice stone and hickory smoke. I just want a very neutral background. And typically in the past, I have actually just put it directly on the paper when it was wet, with my thing being wet, my brush, blending brush. But this time I just felt like pulling this out and throwing some ink on it and just making a background this way. It's pretty simple. If you have it all set up and ready to go, it goes pretty quickly. It's just a matter of waiting for your paper to dry. All right, I'm also going to be using hickory smoke. I think I said that. This is just a little bit darker. I'm just going to randomly put that in here. I know in the center I am going to be putting the stencil only in the center, so I'm not going to put a whole lot of anything right there at the moment. And then I'm going to also use some of this, you've seen me use this maybe before. It is the Lindy's, the Cosmic, hold on a second, I'll get it for you. Okay, sorry about that. It is a Cosmic Shimmer, Pixie Powder, and Ancient Copper. This is one of my favorites. And I've already got some in here that's dried up. And that's one thing I like about this, is it can dry up and you can just come right back in and put some water in it and reactivate it. Now, if I find that that is too diluted, I will put some more powder back in. So I really, really, really like this gold. It's going to be very subtle. So I'm just flicking some of that on here. I like the bigger puddles myself. This will have a lot more shimmer to it in real life than it will in the camera, or even when I end up finishing it. It's really, in real life, it looks better. But anyway, so get that glare out there, and then I'm just going to spritz this. I really do want it to blend, be more watercolor looking, not just blotchy. So I'm also spraying my paper, and I'm just going to press that on. I like it when I can see that it oozes out around the edges. That means to me that it has done some smearing that I want it to do. I know this color is not going to be very, very bold or anything. I just want a subtle background. And you see, that's what I mean. It's just really, it looks like white paper just about, but it isn't. But I am going to go ahead and add a little bit more gray, because I do want it to be a little bit more darker. So even though all this is on here, I'm just going to go ahead and rub some more of this on. And then we're going to go ahead and see if I can get a little bit more color. I don't want a lot. All right. Let's put that back on. I think I probably had too much water, because that's what happens sometimes. If you have too much water, you kind of lose all color, especially when it's not a bold color to begin with. Yeah. So I'm just going to it's going to just be a really, you can kind of see it when it dries, you'll see a little bit more, but I really want that kind of look. I just did not want the white. So I think I am still going to add, I'm going to leave this on here. I am still going to add some more of this gold. Just because I think it looks good with it splattered. Okay, that's going to work. I'm going to just tap that up just a tad. That's what I want. That's going to work. Okay. You can see there's even texture from the water and the paper. It's like bubbling up. I want the texture. So, okay, so I'm going to let that dry just a little bit and I'll be right back. Okay, so my paper is dry, and like I said, there's not much to it, but I just wanted to have a little bit of a different look, and then for the background. And so then what I did is I took a piece of paper that's just a little bit smaller than that, and I cut out a circle because I want to do my stencil in the middle of that. For my last video, I did the same thing, but I did it with a heart. But this one's going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to use pumice stone, and I just want to lightly get this design. Okay, let's check that out first. Yep, that's what I want. I just want that really, really subtle background there. You can kind of see the shimmer when I tilt it, even though you can't really, I mean, you can kind of see it when you can see it. All right, so that's what I needed, and now I'm going to be able to start stamping, so I'm going to need to set that up. Okay, I'm getting all set up, and again, this is the first time I've done this, so we'll do it as we go. And again, this is Hoots, and I've already got him positioned. I am going to use pine cone, VersaFine Clear pine cone for him. Usually there's not a really significant difference between the black and some of the brown unless you see it in person. But I'm going to go ahead and do something that I don't normally do when I'm filming. And I am going to be placing him down, and then the next thing is I have already made a mask for him. He is relatively really simple to cut out, and I'm going to stamp him I see just a little bit of fuzziness right there. He's easy to cut out except for his claws, and those aren't bad either. It's just of all of it, the hardest part is his claws, but it's really not that hard. All right, he's good to go. And then the next thing I want to do is basically audition my books. There it is. And it's harder to do because there's two on this one, but I kind of want him to be setting on that, but I don't want the books to be totally going the wrong direction. And I want these two books to be covered by him. So that's my plan for the first one, I think. Yep, and I'm going to get that all set up, and then I'm going to put my mask on. I need to see if I can get the branch of it lined up fairly close to his foot. See, my tape is not sticking. Okay. I'm still lining that up. And pull that off. And in this case, I'm going to use the Nocturne. Let's see where I put the Nocturne. There it is. Okay. So Yeah, I need to put the mask on. Hello. That wouldn't be cool. All right, so there's my mask and my ink. There's not a lot to ink on this one, so it works pretty good. Now, again, my problem, I use cardstock and it's a little bit higher up, so instead of the masking, I think it's called masking paper. Yeah, because I'm missing a little bit right there. And I do think I want that piece because it looks funny. Okay. Yeah, probably gonna have to color that in just a little bit, but that's okay. I'm gonna do it one more time because I can see even the big book needs it. And I'm gonna leave my mask on until I go all the way around with a wreath. Yeah, I'm just gonna color that part in. So then my next thing would be, again, I'm gonna go ahead and because I am gonna come back, I'm hoping, and very faintly I'm gonna be adding berries. So I'm gonna try to line this up the best I can to make it a wreath. And I don't care that this goes over that. That will be fine. I see that I'm extended over here, so I'm gonna have to take this off and set this on. Okay. It kind of gives me a little bit of an imprint anyway. This is called winging it. All right, I need this little spot up there. Okay, that's good. And then we're going to come up and around. Because I'm trying to follow the part that goes around that circle that I made with the stencil. I think that will work. And again, like I said, I'm going to use the thank you, some of the thank you stamps, I think, for the fill in. See, like right there, that space, it will be fine. And I want to make that so that it actually goes this way to meet. So I'm going to be coming off to the side because I think that works for the circle. Need some more washi tape. Okay. I think that's going to work. Don't need that extra ink. Okay. And then I'm going to have something that's coming in there. And I am going to use this just to see how that would work. I think I can do that. I think it can overlap and it will be fine. That's the plan. Okay. Okay, it slid it just a little bit because, again, this piece, so I'm going to set it. I'm still trying to look at the circle and how it fits. That's how I move in this one. Okay. All right. That works. And like I said, even though that's overlapping, I'm fine with that. I'll be able to work with that. So now I'm going to go ahead and look at a few of the thank you ones, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I decided to go with this one right here. Let me see if you can see that. I'm going to try that one, and that's this one right here. And I am going to stamp it in Morning Mist because I don't want it to be the same color as the black, so that I'm going to actually color in the berries. I'm going to make them, I'm going to give them a pinky red. So I needed more washi tape. That stuff runs out really fast, gets unsticky. All right, so it's all set up where I want to start. And I only want to stamp this one time because I don't want it to be dark. I want it to be like a second generation type stamp. And it really does have a second generation type look. That's what I want. Totally want that. I'm going to do that all the way around. Like even right there. I just want to fill it in with the spaces. And I said it's going to be kind of like a second generation. Yep. And we'll keep going. And remember, like I said, I'm going to come back in and color those with a red or a pinky red, not really sure. Okay. Trying to keep with our circle. I think I'm going to keep this one, even though that is going in the other direction. I'm going to go this direction with these. And that's mainly because it's curved. And I want it to curve in. But I think it looks fine. And we'll give it one more. I might even cover up that one spot right there. Okay, I think that looks, I might think I want to add a little bit around the owl, just to make it balanced and look like he's really sitting in there. I might have to take the mask off to get that look that I want, because I want it to be closer. I'm going to take the mask off. I don't think it's going to hurt him. I'll just try to get a little bit of the outside. There we go. That's what I wanted. So that's the basic wreath. I'm going to add color to it, And I think I'm going to add the fairy dictionary to the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and get that all ready. Okay, so I'm probably going to have to do some manipulating in order to get this on around it randomly. So I'm going to speed this up in just a second. Okay, so now that I've got that all the way around, I am going to go ahead at this time and I'm going to go ahead and add some edging inking, and I'm going to be using frayed burlap. I want it to have sort of a book look, like it's an, you know, an old book. And frayed burlap works really well for that. You do want to make sure that your ink is dry before you start smearing this all on too. It's almost like doing it this way, it's almost like stamping on a book, except for because you have that fairy dictionary, you're able to make your own pages, which is kind of handy if you can't find exactly the right words and stuff that you want to do. So that's the look to put it on the outside. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of chipped sapphire because I like chipped sapphire. It's just one of my favorite colors, or ink. And yes, my table wiggles a little bit when I do this. I'm not putting a lot, I'm just having just a little bit on the edge with the chipped sapphire. Okay, so that's what I want the edges to look like. And then I'm going to go ahead and do some coloring on the owl and the books. Okay, so I've pulled out some of my Prismacolor pencils, and I'm going to show you what I have planned. Because I did start a little bit right here, and I'll get that closer because I can when I do it this way. Okay. I want it to look like a wreath, and I also wanted to have some berries. But before I get started on the wreath, I pulled out 925, which I'm going to use for the berries, but I'm also going to be using it for his glasses. Because I don't know why, I think red glasses look cool. These are more of a cherry red. And you need a sharp pencil depending on the size you I would say you need a sharp pencil because of the size of the glasses when you stamp it. It's basically kind of small. And then I also pulled out 1033 because I wanted to color in his beak. And I think that one color works pretty good. So now to continue on. The 925 I am using on all the berries. I don't need to color, I think, all of those for you to know. You just color in the berries. And I am going to even color in the ones that are more faded, but I'm just not going to color them as heavy. I want them to continue to look faded. So only the ones that look solid will I color them in solid. The ones that look a little bit more fainted, I'm going to color softly. So it still gives that look of being soft, I guess. And then for the books, I'm going to do this one here. I have 1005, and the center of the book, although I see a little berry right there, I'll probably color the berry in, so I'll leave that without any green on it. I'm just going to come up from the crease of the book, center of the book. And then I'm going to be using 1084 to have it be the highlight of the book. And then at the very tip again, I'll come back in with the 1005 to give it a little bit more color. So that's what I'm going to do for all the big books. Then for the small little books, I'm going to be using 912. And basically, it's more of a grassy green. The other one was more of a, olive green, had more yellow in it. But it doesn't matter. You can make your books whatever color you want. But that's how I'm going to give the color to that whole wreath all the way around. And that pretty much will finish up the card in terms of making the card top. And then I'm going to then go ahead and matte that and put it probably on a black card. Sometimes when I get completely finished, I add a little bit more embellishments once I see it completed and I think about it. And that picture will always be at the beginning of the video. You'll always see what the completed finish look is. Otherwise, I'm going to continue to color that. And like I said, I'll put that on a card to show you. And it was really kind of fun. Oh, one thing I don't want to forget to tell you, because you probably wondered how big I made that circle, and that is important to know. Oh, here's mine. Because it did make a difference, okay? You can make it any size you want, but just to let you know what I did, it's 3.5. So the circle I made was 3.5. That helps you at all if you go to make this. So I hope you enjoyed that. I appreciate you stopping by. Again, please remember that I have all of the information down in the description. Thanks so much. Bye.